So it's Jessup Talks and we are back, and we are actually in the middle of the International Rounds 2024. Some of you enjoy the Washington D.C, some of you might already start thinking that, is there life after Jessup? Today I'm really happy to welcome Daniel, who will share his views on, as the practicing lawyer, on what is the life after you graduate from the law school and become the practicing lawyer. Welcome Daniel, thank you so much for having me today, and Jessup Ukraine as well. Would you mind starting from introducing yourself?
Sure, thanks Masha, it's great to see you actually, and we're really excited to be sponsoring Jessup Ukraine. I'm really pleased that we're supporting all the teams on this great adventure. So my background is I studied law in London and also in Aix-en-Provence in France. I did English and French law. Actually, when I graduated, I didn't become a lawyer straight away. I kind of was off doing some other things. I spent some time in Georgia doing some humanitarian projects, some conflict resolution projects. And there was a time when I thought I might carry on and do that forever, but I decided that actually I wanted to come back and become a lawyer, and so I did. I qualified in London with another firm, and I joined Linklaters in 2001. I spent some time in our Moscow office, 5 years. For the last 17 years, just over, I've been based out of our Warsaw office, and I do M&A in Ukraine, Turkey, and the CEE region.
Sounds exciting and sounds not typical for the Jessup graduates, because people think that Jessup people go to the dispute resolution. Today we will talk why not. So, but I have a question before we jump into these issues. So, as you know, as you told, you are supporting this year Jessup Ukraine. Linklaters is a strategic partner for Jessup Ukraine. Could you please share what was the driver behind this decision? Why did you decide to jump into all of this?
Well, it was very natural for us. I mean, we've, as a firm, we've always had a lot of work in Ukraine. So we have, over many years, been active in Ukraine. We've never had an office in Ukraine, but we've always been working in Ukraine. We have lots of Ukrainian clients, friends, law firms that we work with, lots of the legal communities. So when you asked me the question, I didn't really need to think about it too long. We're really delighted to help you out, and especially at this time.
I remember this call and you were the person giving the quickest answer. Yes, we're in, let's go for that. Yeah, thank you so much.
No, it's really our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
So now let's switch to the topics that would be really useful for all of our graduates and all the Jessup alumni. So you have an enormous background, as you shared right now, and during this work in the law firms and beyond, you had an opportunity to work with a lot of people and a lot of recent graduates. So I have some of the questions that will help our graduates to form the understanding of the legal market and the professional a little bit more. So the first question, if you compare the people graduating from the law schools, let's say 5, 10, 15 years ago and now, which core differences do you see?
That's quite a tough question, actually. But I guess that graduates, seems to me, are more international now. They're super talented. And I would say their linguistic skills are probably, maybe that's something which I see that's changed. People speak more languages maybe than they did a few years ago. I think that they are more tech savvy, so they're better with tech than they used to be, and they kind of need to be. And I also think that they're quite graduates are quite clear about what they want to do, so I think they come and they kind of know if they want to be in a law firm or in a big organization or not, and they're kind of quite clear about their objectives. I'll put it like that. So more kind of defined about what they want out of their careers.
So we see that people change, the graduates change, the world changes obviously, and I want to ask you about the corporate culture of the law firms. How did it change? Which changes can you mention? And do you think that the law firms today are a really good place to work for the recent graduates, with all their tech-savvy mind, with their persistence and clear understanding of the objectives in their life? In particular, what about Linklaters?
Yeah, well, I've been in Linklaters really a long time, so I can only talk about Linklaters. I don't know about other organisations really very much. But I think that I think it's still a great place with lots of opportunities for kind of internationally minded graduates who want challenging work and the opportunity to do that, to work for kind of the biggest companies, biggest clients on interesting and exciting transactions. But that probably sounds more grandiose. I think in reality what it is, it's the opportunity to be pushed, kind of to do something intellectual, difficult, challenging, and kind of achieve results, working in a team, in a kind of high, an organisation which prides itself on trying to do the best it can for on our projects. So if I'm talking to a graduate, I would just say, look, if you want to be pushed and you want to do something challenging and rewarding, then and you like detail and you like communicating, then I think a lawyer working for an international law firm is a good idea, and I would say Linklaters is a good place to work.
For me, you just have described the Jessup team, but multiplied by 100, let's say, in the scale.
Yeah.
Also challenging, exciting, rewarding. That's pretty much that we can use these words to describe Jessup. As I teased already, at least half of the people who graduate from the moot course work for the transactions. You're the transactions lawyer, me too, actually.
Yeah.
But people expect these people to work in the dispute resolution and so on. So the first question about the skills in our set of these questions: which skills from the moot course do you believe are relevant for the transactions lawyers, not for the DR lawyers?
Yeah, so I did a bit of mooting. I wasn't very good at it, actually, I have to say. And I also did some disputes work as a young lawyer. So I think disputes skills are totally relevant for transactional work because it's all about communicating. So if you need to be able to explain things in a clear way, and you need to be able to win your counterpart over to your point of view, and whether you're doing that in a kind of disputes sort of way, or it's in a more consensual transactional format, it's sort of the same skills. I think that the process of preparing for a trial, for an arbitration or for a moot, is similar to transactional processes. It's about good organisation. It's about planning. It's kind of thinking about what the key points are, how to make those in an effective way. So I think the skills are all absolutely transferable.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to come and become an M&A or tax lawyer. It's fine. So talking about the skills that he uses every day, of course, we understand that the skills that he uses as the partner, they're also more about the management skills. But if we limit this point just to legal skills, which legal skills do you use every day?
As a transactional lawyer, I think the key legal skills that you need are to be able to communicate clearly, whether in speaking or in writing emails or in the contracts which you're negotiating. That's kind of the crux of it. And to be able to negotiate clearly and effectively on behalf of your clients, and everything that goes with that. So I think that it's a kind of a combination of attention to detail, being able to work out the important points and the less important points, and present those either to your client or to your counterparty, and being able to kind of run a process, organise and run a transaction from kind of start to finish. So lots of organisational work as well as detailed understanding of what's in an agreement and how to explain it.
Okay, so we briefly mentioned about that the world is changing, and it will change even more in the coming years. So based on the skills that you mentioned, which skills do you expect the lawyers will need in 3-5 years, like in this roughly short-term period?
Well, you definitely need to add in the skill of using properly AI and other tech tools. That's going to be definitely part of, it's already part of what we do, and that's going to be a big part of what we do in the future. So I don't think lawyers are going to be replaced by AI, but they certainly need to be able to use it kind of properly and effectively. So that's the key one.
And I will now switch to the last part of our interview, which is for me really warm, because it's about the support that Poland and Polish people extended to the Ukrainians after the full-scale invasion in 2022. In particular, the Linklaters opened the doors to Ukrainian qualified lawyers who joined as the secondees. And I wanted to discuss the peculiarities of integration of Ukrainian lawyers, in particular in your firm or overall in the Polish market, because unfortunately we still don't know when Ukraine will win, and we still need to think about integrating people abroad. So the first question in this block is, what is the core benefit for the Polish and European law firms to employ the Ukrainian qualified lawyers?
Well, so I've been in Warsaw. Warsaw is my adopted home. I'm not Polish, but I'm a Polish citizen, and I've been here a very long time. And I was really pleased that what we did was what everybody was doing. We were absolutely delighted to do whatever we could to help in a really terrifying situation, which is still terrifying and really tough. So anything we could do to help was a pleasure, and we were really pleased to be able to be in a position to be able to help. So we had 3, I think, secondees, as well as lots of different initiatives, and lots of people in the office were doing all sorts of things, like the whole of society really were doing all sorts of things to help out our neighbours. We had 3 secondees with us, plus a few more from time to time, and I mean integration was never a problem. It was a pleasure for us to host, and the lawyers that joined us, and I think that they all have transferable skills. So they were all brilliant. They speak fantastic English. They are really strong individuals with great skill sets. So, and that's been the story that I hear all over the market in Poland. So I think all the law firms, it's all been a great success story, and we were just happy to do what we could, and we were lucky that we had really fantastic people with us as well. But
that sounds amazing. And do you see any benefits in having people who have access to the Ukrainian market, so in
absolutely.
This way to reach
yes,
the market?
Absolutely.
As well?
We've learned a lot about we've got a lot of insight, and the Ukrainian legal skills, knowledge as well, because we've got actually not just in Warsaw. We have throughout the firm. Actually, we have a lot of Ukrainian lawyers in different offices, and they've got their sort of different routes. So we have a really strong backup of lawyers with unique skill set for whenever there'll be some future work in the jurisdiction.
So we briefly highlighted the point of view of the law firms. Now I want you to also share what is an absolute must for the Ukrainian qualified lawyer coming to Europe and deciding that he or she will continue working here. So what is the absolute must to get employed by the international law firm, for example, by Linklaters?
So I think there will certainly be opportunities for anybody who has good legal skills, a good level of English, and a kind of commitment to work hard and do their best. So I think those skills are going to work for you wherever you want to get to. So more specifically, if you have experience on international transactions, then that's going to be a good fit for Linklaters or a firm like Linklaters. If you have experience in disputes, then maybe you should be thinking about firms which are more involved in arbitration or disputes work. But I think that there are always going to be opportunities for kind of motivated people to work in law firms, across Europe. And maybe it's Warsaw, maybe it's London, maybe it's Frankfurt, maybe it's Brussels. I think there's potentially all sorts of interesting opportunities out there.
Sounds great. And now we will switch to the last part, and that's a typical question I ask every our Jessup ambassador. This season is coming to an end, and in a couple of days the rounds will finish in Washington, and we will have 1,500 people who will try to navigate around their life without moot courts. But also the next season will start really soon, and this means that a lot of people will be hesitating if they should join the competition. So as our strategic partner, as our ambassador, what will be your piece of advice to people who still hesitate if they should join Jessup next year?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to really wish the teams which are going to be right now in the middle of the competition, I want to wish them the best of luck. I really would love to see them win, but I also want to see them have a really interesting and fulfilling time, which I'm sure they are. So first of all, well done for making it there, and crossing fingers for the outcome. And if you're thinking about applying next year, then I would say that the skills which you pick up taking part in this competition are absolutely relevant for your future life, whether you're going to be a lawyer, whether you're going to be a transactional lawyer or a disputes lawyer, or whatever else you might want to do. Because I think that the things you learn, presenting an argument, convincing somebody else that your argument's the right one, preparing a project, organising it, and kind of completing it successfully, they're all, you know, very good, very useful skills. And so I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. I think it looks good on your background. You know.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Daniel. It was a real pleasure to meet you and to talk to you. I believe it was a useful talk because we talked about really practical skills. And see you in the next Jessup season.
Thanks, Masha. I'm really pleased to see you, and I'm really pleased that the teams are going to the States, and that we've been able to help in a very small way together with your other sponsors.
Yeah, it's still priceless. Thank you so much.